Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Maren. As you can tell, I'm very Australian. Please feel free to um, put any questions down in the Q&A section down below as we go along. Feel free to put any in as we're going through it, and I'll see if I'll see if I can answer them as we're going along. Otherwise, there will be a little bit of time at the end to talk. Um, all right, let me start sharing my screen and we can get going with this. Lovely. All right. So I know that we've got people here who have just started a trial, don't know a lot about it. And there's some people who've actually started working with BugHerd and are just looking for a few tips and tricks on how to get the most out of BugHerd. I'll try and cover a bit of the basics and then also leading you into how to better manage your feedback using BugHerd. All right. So for those of you who are brand new, basically what is BugHerd? And it's a really simple way of getting feedback and managing that feedback on website projects and also on designs, PDFs and images. What I've done here is actually set BugHerd up. We use it internally here, obviously, but I've set it up on our website. So let's take a quick look at how easy it is to actually leave feedback in the first place. And you'll notice that we've got this BugHerd tab over here. So we can, if you choose to, on some of our premium plans, you can actually kind of white label that and put your own logo and information there so that it looks like a seamless part of the site. For those of you who haven't yet installed BugHerd, there's a couple of different ways of doing it. Choose to use our Chrome extension, which is a really easy way to get up and running. But I'll talk to you a little bit later as well about how else you can install BugHerd. So if I want to leave some feedback, you can see here, I just click on the logo and then the sidebar appears. And I can leave feedback on a particular element on the page. I can tag the page as a whole, or I can actually create some video feedback. Now we cap that at about a minute. We discovered that if you try and let people have any longer than that, they tend to go through the whole site and tag everything up. So we just have it as video feedback. That's 1 minute, sorry. Um, so if I click on that, as I hover over the page, you can actually see it highlighting the elements as I go through. So if I go over here and click on that, I can just simply say, leave my feedback here. Now we have a couple of different, you can see here, I've got an assignee. At the moment, I'm the only one in this project, so it's not so useful, but I can set a severity. I can drop it into the task board, and I can also tag it up. And I often recommend to people that we tag things up. So if I create a homepage tag, then I know that it's for that. And if I say, I can tag it with whatever I want. So I might want to put copy or design or anything like that. And that way it's just easier to filter and sort it when it's created. If I click create, you can see that BugHerd's dropped a pin on that particular element on the page. If I click on that, I can actually see that in the background, we're generating a screenshot and I have some information here. I can fill in all of those details. And I can also see down here that BugHerd's captured the URL. It's also captured the operating system and browser that I'm using and that particular selector that I'm using as well. If I click and have a look at that in the task board, so there's kind of two sides to BugHerd. There's the page, your web page with the sidebar, and then there's also the Kanban style board in the background. So you can see here, there's the task I just created, and here's the screenshot. Now I can actually annotate that. We have some really simple annotation tools down the bottom as well while I'm creating it. Again, I get that same information in here. So you can see the URL, again, the operating system and browser and the element. We also give you the screen resolution. This just makes it a lot easier to work out how to replicate something if it's a bug, or why something looks particularly janky on a particular kind of browser. All right. So I spoke very, very briefly about the different kinds of people that we can invite into BugHerd, and I'll just quickly go through those again. So in BugHerd, we have members and we have guests, and the main difference between them is that members can actually see this Kanban style view of the board. Guests cannot. They can purely leave feedback. If I'm inviting people in, I can simply click on the invite and either under the members or the guests. Enter an email address. So if I invite myself into this one, I can invite myself as a guest or as a member, and I can just simply click add. I'll add myself as a member here, and I'll quickly show you that you can also send a group of guests an invite link. So if I click this create invite link, I can then copy this little link here, and that will, I can put that into like a Slack channel, into Microsoft Teams, into an email and give people instructions on what they're expected to do. If I share either that or an email, we will get people to create an account. So members and guests will create an account and then be able to see the BugHerd sidebar when they visit the website. That's one of the really nice things about BugHerd is that it actually works on your website uh, and pins things directly to the elements there. Don't stress, only people who are invited into the project, either as a member or a guest, can actually have the sidebar appear for them. We do have, as I've just said, we've only got two types. We do have another kind of um, user type, and that one we have up in the settings up here as well. So if you click on either the BugHerd logo or the name of the agency, you can get this additional drop-down menu. And we have here team. And this is for organizing whether you want to create what we call a manager role. And basically the difference between a manager and a member is that a member is invited to one particular project, whereas a manager can kind of dip in and out of every project that's within your organization. We also have a billing and manager, and they have access to things like your plan and billing and your invoices tabs up here. We do also have the owner. That's what role you'll have if you've set up BugHerd, but otherwise they have the same kind of ability to see everything that both the managers and the billing and managers have. We also have this My Projects board, and this is probably a good one if I've just talked to you about managers. And this gives you an overview of everything that you can see across all of the projects that you've created. So with BugHerd, at the moment you can have as many projects as you want. You can see here, I've got a fair few lined up. And then I can just dip in and out of these as I choose. You can see up here that we've got a little flag. This is basically telling you how many open tasks are in those particular projects. And you can also see that we've got 4 more in feedback. So if I pop back into this one, feedback tasks are ones that come from guests, and you can see that we just list them in a row here. So you can open those up the same way as you would normally, have a quick look at them. We do this particularly so that it's more of a triaging thing before you send things actually to the task board. But basically, I can just click on Move to Task Board, or I can actually bulk select these and send them all to the task board, which I won't do right now because I don't want to double up of that one. But yeah, basically, I can move them to backlog. And now you'll notice I have more of the tasks in here. With each project board that you have, you can adapt these to the way that you work. So you can add a new column. If I want to create waiting for QA, and I can move and change these as I see fit. So you've got some ability to adapt your, you can rename any of the existing ones as well, or anything like that to suit the way that you work. Speaking of the way that you work, BugHerd also integrates with some of the tools that you might already be using and love. So we've got here some really lovely uh, and ones that people have asked us for. So BugHerd basically has a direct integration that's a two-way integration with things like Jira, Asana. For those of you in the agency world, Monday and ClickUp. We do also have a connection to Linear for those of you who love Linear as a dev tool. We have some things like time tracking with Harvest and also Slack. And very soon we'll have Teams coming to join those as well. Setting up a connection is pretty easy. So if I just choose to connect next to that, basically, you just need to link your account to an existing one, and then you have some options to configure. So this is like, if I decide that I want to send all of my tasks from BugHerd the minute they arrive in BugHerd, I can do that. If I want to wait and do some triaging in BugHerd first before sending tasks onto another tool, I can also select options here. So I can automatically create the tasks, or I can choose to only send tasks once I move them to the to-do board. Speaking of which, I can either just move tasks as I'm creating them, or as mentioned before, I can actually bulk select some tasks, and then I can change things like the status, who they're assigned to. I can add tags for them. I can update their severity. So if I wanted to say, actually, these three are really important, and I can also change the due date. So just to show you how that works, I can do multiple things as well. So I could change them into to do and make them important. And there we go. Now they're all updated. For those of you who are wondering as well, I might just quickly swap into a project that has a um, couple more tags and things like that, just to show you a bit more about how you can manage it when your board gets incredibly full like this one. So basically, we have this search and filter one up here. As I mentioned, we do have the ability to use BugHerd on different asset types. I'll quickly show you that as well. You can see here, I've got the websites that I've got BugHerd set up on for this particular project. You can also see that I have things like designs and also if I go down a bit further, I have some PDFs and I can also put in images. So this is really useful if you're wanting to like meet BugHerd up with or like use Figma for the early design stage of BugHerd of your project. And then also, for things like images, you might be like, hey, I've got these 3 or 4 suggestions for a hero image. Let me load those up. Adding a new website, PDF, image, or Figma file is really simple. I just simply click on those buttons. I'll just load up a screenshot. You can see here that whenever I bring something new in, it actually makes it as part of an ungrouped group down the bottom. I do recommend grouping things. So I might want to, create a new group that actually says, if I add to a group, oop, create a new group for our hero images. And now you can see that I have hero images here and I can do a selection of those. If I want to share those with a particular client, I can either share the group as a whole. And again, I just need to copy that link and send that off. Or I can share an individual image. If I want to get feedback on a particular design or asset, it works the same way uh, as the normal BugHerd in that I have a sidebar. I can tag a particular part of it. I'm approving it. This image is great. I create that task. Then if we go back to the task board, you can see here that we actually filter and sort and add a little tag onto it because it's an image. So the same thing when you share a Figma file, you also get like image here. It makes it much easier if I decide that I want to filter by design feedback, website feedback, then I can simply pick anything that's an image or a Figma file and easily sort those. So it separates your website feedback from your design and image feedback. Talking about filtering, if I just show you a little bit, we've got these tags. If I want to just see ones that have copy changes, I can use the tags in that way. So when I suggested earlier, that's a really nice idea to tag things. This is part of the reason why. You can as well filter and sort by, who they're assigned to. So if you want to see a quick view of everything that somebody is across in a project, we also have things like sorting and filtering by severity. I get rid of the tag one. That's probably an easier one. So if I go severity, I can see just the critical or important ones here. We do have site and URL as well. So you can sort, for example, if I go back to this one, I know that because this is our BugHerd website, I might want to actually filter and sort them purely by ones that are on our blog. So I can go URL blog, and that will show me all of the ones that have the pathway of blog in them as well. If you have multiple sites, you also might want to use what we call sites. Site. And that way, if you're using like we do, we have ones that are in Webflow in here and also on our like non-staging area, I can use site to help with that one too. You'll notice a series of red dots here as well. So what these are is just a way of letting you know that you have some comments or some notifications that need your attention. So with this one, if I scroll down a little bit, I can see that we've got commenting tools here. If I go back to this one, basically with comments, I can say, have a conversation with the person who left that particular piece of feedback. So if it's back to, if I want to say, oh, actually, we need a, a res image. If I click add here, can see that it adds the comment to the bottom of the task here. What it also does is it notifies any of the members who are assigned to that task and also the person who reported it. So whether they're a guest or a member, they'll get a notification saying that there's a comment on the particular task that they left. And if I have a bit more of a look at that, notifications come particularly for guests in the form of an email. So they'll get an email that says, Marin's asked you a question or requested something, and they can respond to that either via email or they can come back into BugHerd via the sidebar and they'll be able to see it there as well. Because you don't always want to alert particular guests. If you've invited clients in, you don't always want them to be able to see every comment that your team has. So again, as one of our premium features, we have members only. So this is the ability to only have conversations between your team. If I leave a comment here, but only a comment, you can see that they're actually appear as yellow comments, and that is purely ones that members of your organization can see. So if you have any particular comments on things, you can see that this little icon lights up. We can actually mention people as well. So if I wanted to say, I don't think it works when I do it for myself, just realized that one, bad part of demoing. But I'll show you on our project site because you can see notifications and mentions on tasks individually. You can also see them across all of your projects. So if I just go to my projects here, you can see here there's, 85 comments here and a particular mention for me as well. Okay. Couple of other things. If you want to change any of the URLs or anything like that of your websites, then you can easily, oh, not there, edit the website here. We do also have another area of settings, so you can actually add and remove URLs from here as well. But I do recommend if you do that, to do that in the websites and settings to begin with. Right at the start, I talked a little bit about installing BugHerd. We have either the browser extension, which is supported for Chrome, Safari, Firefox, and Edge. You might also want to consider installing the JavaScript code. So the big difference between this is if you choose to set your projects up with the browser extension, it means that when you invite people in, they will also need to have, so your members and guests will also need to install a browser extension in order to see BugHerd appear. If you're using the JavaScript code, we can simply copy this little snippet of code and paste it into the header of the website. And then anyone who's logged into BugHerd and invited to that project will be able to see the BugHerd sidebar on the page. Makes it a little bit simpler if you have non-technical clients or people who aren't able, or whatever restrictions they have, to install a browser extension. Makes it just a tiny bit simpler. We do also have a WordPress plugin. So for those of you who are WordPress lovers, you can install our WordPress plugin. Basically, that gives you the ability to also see the like on the back end of WordPress as well. So the actual admin site will have some ability to tag and leave feedback using BugHerd. All right, I think I've pretty much covered the basics of BugHerd. It is a relatively easy to use tool. I don't think anyone's left me any questions, but now's your chance if you've got some last minute things. Otherwise, I will definitely share a copy of this training session with you all so you can refer back to it. And yeah, uh, if you have any other questions at all, feel free to contact support@bugherd.com. Now, does anyone have any final questions before we finish up for today? I'll take that as a no. Thank you for joining me. Again, any problems that you have or any additional questions you might have, feel free to contact us at support@bugherd.com. Thanks for joining me.